Welcome, Wamkilekile. We welcome you today to this most auspicious event of commitment to a profession, to a life of service with humility and integrity. Welcome to all of you who are joining us from home, and we just are so grateful for you to be able to celebrate and to take your oath in front of witnesses together. So we would ask that as we start, that all of you students who are qualifying now and are going to take your oath today, if you can please put your cameras on. We're not going to have a terribly long ceremony, but we would like you to have your cameras on. And as Prof. Green Thompson indicated, please have a witness with you, a family member or a friend who can witness and bear witness in the room with you to your taking of the oath shortly. We're going to be taking you through a sequence of reflections and some inputs, and I will also do some celebrations of some prize winners who were not in the physical ceremonies, and we'll be celebrating those with you so that we can acknowledge and publicly recognize those. So, colleagues, we're going to start off with a video from Prof. Marion Jacobs, who was one of our previous deans from many years ago, and she just has some wonderful words to share with us to remind us of what it is that we need to be thinking about as we prepare for the oath taking. Thank you very much.
I'm Marion Jacobs. I was the dean of this faculty until 2012. I am a public health pediatrician. And this year, I will celebrate my 50th anniversary with my own practice. At the moment, I'm doing a range of things, including serving as the co-chair of the Ministerial and Environmental Committee. And in my spare time, I do other things like starting to the cinema, reading my literature, and also being involved with both Oathtaking and annual welcome time. So, graduate colleagues that are going to be very soon, as you're about to take your oath, perhaps you want to reflect on a few things. I think the first thing you want to think about is why you decided to pursue your career as an oath professional. And then you would be failing if you didn't think about your journey, your very interesting journey in this particular scientific. So one of the first things that happened when some of you got here was the Peace One Fall movement. And what did you learn from that? You probably learned that it's okay to raise your voice, to learn when you have to speak, and I hope you also learn when you need to be quiet. The second big event was the tragic death of Marion. And that for you must have been a huge learning experience. The best part of it must have been the compassion that you felt for him and his family, for your fellow, for your colleagues, also for your teachers and students. And the third, of course, is the grateful culture that you do now in your final year as you are about to take. And then again, you can think back on PBL, which you probably didn't enjoy much. PBL taught you how to learn on your own and how to learn in teams. And that team thing also came from you learning about your fellow students, learning about their challenges, their achievements, their lives outside of music. Whether they're a star soccer player or a star travel player, all of those things. And that must be the one experience. So as you reflect on your last 2 years in the faculty, you are now preparing to enter the world of work. And this is a huge shift into a situation of power, where you will have the kind of power that is given to very few people. You have the power to listen to people's deepest secrets, the power to ask questions of them, to ask intimate questions, equipment, your drugs, your interventions, some of which may not be sufficient for your patient. And you can make a choice whether you want to use this power that's or whether you in fact would prefer to be a healer that's caring, that's compassionate, a healer that understands the need to listen, a healer that's not scared to hold your patient's hand, to pick up a little baby, and to be just kind and normal, a kind, normal human being. And I think if you practice that kind of healing, you will go into the world that needs that sort of healing now more than ever before. And I'm convinced that you've been prepared for it. Your journey through the faculty, your learnings in the faculty, and your learnings in the world as you move from being a teenager into an older adolescent. So how can I wish you? I want to quote somebody who has great respect, and that's Dr. Stewart. And he talked about the places he'll go. So with apologies, I'm going to read what he says. He says, you're off to great places. You're off and away. You blaze in your head. You have shoes in your feet. Feet in your shoes. You can scare yourself anyway that you choose. But when you're alone, there's a very good chance, in the night, in the woods, that you'll meet the next thing that you'll meet will scare you out of your life. This with great care and great tact. Remember that life is a balancing act. So I can deal with it. That you must remember that you can't just focus on being in your woods and with your patients or you must have a life. Because having that life enables you to be a better person.
Can I ask what questions there on today?
Thank you so much to Prof. Jacobs. So for those of you on the call at home, if we can just ask you for now just to turn yourselves onto mute and to put your cameras on, because we'd love to see you. This is giving space to us as if we are in a physical environment, but though we can't be physical, we are present together visually and in spirit. So before I hand over to Prof. Lionel Green-Thompson, we're just going to make a couple of announcements of colleagues who were announced in the earlier in-person ceremony, but are more likely part of this ceremony. And so just for public recognition, for those two ceremonies that we had this morning, as we've mentioned, this is not a graduation. This is indeed the oath-taking. The graduation is a looking back and a celebration of the achievement over the past 4 years. For those of you attending today, this is indeed remarkably special and solemn as we take an oath for the future, for the whole of the rest of your careers in terms of your commitment to service to your profession. So that would normally be the case, but because of COVID, we have also combined that with a little prize giving just to be able to publicly acknowledge those who have done exceptionally well. And so I'm going to read out those prize winners. And in the chat function, you may with pleasure pop your congratulations, emojis, and whatever else you'd like to do just to celebrate the colleagues that we are going to mention now. So distinctions that were listed today, for an overall average of 75% throughout all 4 years of study, have been awarded to Shafar Fattar, to Alice Finley, to Shu Su, to Jenna Noons, to Muriel Quevalier. I'm sure that I've said that incorrectly, but congratulations. Demi Rosen and Bathsheba Shulman. Congratulations. And then from this morning for occupational therapy, the Practice Learning Merit Award for the best final year BSc occupational therapy student in fieldwork, awarded to Corinne Pretorius. Congratulations, Corinne. And then a further distinction for this morning is Christina Fenner Solomon. Congratulations, Christina. And then the South African Speech Language Hearing Association Prize, awarded to the best final year student in speech language pathology clinical, provided an average of at least 75% has been attained, is awarded to, in addition, the class medal for the best clinical performance in the following courses, provided a result of 75% is obtained in each case for clinical speech therapy 3A and clinical speech therapy 3B for fourth year speech language pathology, Alice Finley. Hearty congratulations. And so huge congratulations to all of you for achieving the end of your year. This is really quite an achievement. You know, a few months ago, we weren't sure that we would be able to conclude this final year, this end of your studying, given the COVID and the pandemic. I think that we really have got to the point where we can be immensely grateful for the place in which we have arrived today, that we are celebrating the end of the year, but also to be able to congregate and commit to the year, the many years ahead, the year ahead and the career ahead. So congratulations to all of you as we do that. We're now going to have a reflection, a further reflection on what oath-taking means, so that you get into the space, into the mental space, and just the thinking and reflection of what this oath-taking actually means. So to all of you, please put your videos on and listen to this next group of people, a selection from the faculty, from community leaders, and indeed from some of our alumni who are going to share with you what it means to take this oath. Thank you.
I remember when I took my oath, I was overwhelmed with a feeling of relief and accomplishment and pride. And the words made perfect sense, but it's only with experience that the words as you are taking oath today, remember, oath is about empathy, professionalism, and care. If you put those three, you are a winner. Also, oath is about humanity. This was oath, provider, and receiver. On reflection, the very first line stands out to me, which is I pledged. And so we always need to remember that we are in service of people, not of ourselves, not of money, not of status or societal stereotypes. And to serve with integrity and humility. I really think to actually reflect on the privilege that it is to be a health professional. So many people are trying to apply to get into one of the IGC, and for me, you know, it's a massive privilege to actually be sitting here today or to meet up in my degree as a physiotherapist. And I think we always have to remember that it's a privilege to actually be helping someone through a really difficult time, that it involves one of the most important aspects of their life. One of the commitments that we make is that of lifelong learning. The commitment to lifelong learning is using the current period that we're going through as an example, and that you say that the right to change, new knowledge, new diseases, new health challenges working with an underprivileged team and providing the coaches with skills or the athletes with skills to enhance their abilities is amazing. And I think that's the important thing within South Africa is that yes, we might not have the resources, it might not be equal, and the costs might not be equal. We have much stronger. There's an institution teaching and a person that's very helpful.
I think it's particularly important for health professionals to be mindful of those issues, to do their best in terms of addressing those inequalities. And that will require us working not only across our disciplines in the health professions, but with other sectors, working intersectorally to make sure that we address the challenges of our society.
So what has guided my daily practice, and I noticed this in my second month of internship when one of the matrons came to me and asked which university do I come from. So I thought I did something wrong and said UCT. But what transpired actually has stuck with me for many months. So she noticed that different way I interacted. And she really went. That's surprising because I thought I was what you should be doing, but she noticed that as something extraordinary. So many of you will get something and one needs to embrace the time. And also look after yourself amidst all of that. To serve them and appreciate as they found to make the world a better place. It is very important that the students must reflect on their work that they are doing within our communities, especially the marginalized community and vulnerable one. We need to hear the voices of our caucus, meaning our academic people who are always standing in those shoes at the beginning. We need to hear the voices of our own who are domestic violence. Go out there and be advocates for a change. My message to students is to always remember what a resilient group they are. That all the things must all just survive the pandemic. These are graduates who are going to be able to change the face of South Africa and the face of the health system in the country. Every single graduate should remember that they've gone through the most and to be. I really do feel that these challenges have made the class more resilient, more mature, and more capable. Forward to this new generation of also to be responsible and passionate targets. The class of 2020, you deserve a massive congratulations.
I say that, okay, you made this far, and I know that South Africa can be a better place because of you. Go well and make us proud.
Congratulations on a remarkable achievement under extremely difficult circumstances. I'm confident that you are fantastic professionals. I wish you every joy and success as you embark on global and profession. Much love.
I want to congratulate you for a journey well traveled. You have really amounted to many challenges and welcome you as
Good luck for your future and be resilient. Wherever you go, shine. Ndinganjala xaba uvula amaphiko uwathwese. Fly, eagle, fly higher and spread the wings. All the best to you. Halala.
Halala, indeed. We're going to hand over now to Professor Lionel Green-Thompson, our Dean, to give us a few words before we take the oath. Thank you, Prof.
Thanks, Dr. Peg. Halala, bafundile abantwana bethu, sebakhulile manje. Siyabonga ngempela, sibonga labo mama, abo tata ekhaya. Sibonga labo tishela, bamfundisile kahle. Halala, our children have completed their learning. We give thanks to the parents who supported them, to the communities from which they came. We give thanks to their teachers who in an incredibly hard year were able to bring us to this point. So halala to all of you. A great Thanksgiving to all of you and your families. This moment is happening at a very strange time in our world. But I want to tell two stories. My message today is in three parts. One is a personal public health message. The second one is a story of legacy. And the third one is a story of promise, because I think today is so much about promise. The first one is that I had 3 guests here last week. I had 3 teenagers, kids from the ages of 19 to 22, visiting my home here last week. And despite all of my warnings about how to behave in public places and all of that, as I'm sure you're getting from all sorts of places, they went out 2 nights last week. And assured me the places they went to were open air places. They sat outside. As we say in my family, hana, hana, hana. And now 2 of them have tested positive. They returned to Joburg on Saturday, and 2 of them are positive. The reason I'm not with you is that I became symptomatic on Sunday and have decided to test myself. So I went for a test yesterday and I'm waiting for the result. Well, I'm not with you because you're online anyway. You were not the ones that were coming to the building. But the reason I tell this story is not that this is an ach shame moment. The reason I tell the story, colleagues, is that your generation, your age group is spreading the virus at rates that are unimaginable. The number of positives in your age group is increasing larger than in any other group. So the reason that I made this point in the previous groups is because we couldn't control the photo taking before. But I suspect that you're going to go into celebrations of various kinds in your families. And I just want you to be mindful of that. In fact, in the very first group that we did, I made the point that all of us are more likely to get infected in our private social spaces than we are at our workplaces. And we need to keep that in mind. So colleagues, I wanted to, like I said to you, I wanted to talk about legacy. You represent the legacy of this faculty now. Your names are written forever in the books at UCT as having qualified here. And this group is a multidisciplined group. It's all of the disciplines. There's some medics, there's some communication students, there's OTs, there's physios, in a nice eclectic mixture of who we are as a faculty. And the really splendid part of this is that your parents are part of our legacy too now. So what we did on the 30th of November is that we invited the traditional leaders of the Khoi people. What we did is we asked them to come onto campus to do a ceremony of Thanksgiving for us, to acknowledge the ancestors who occupied that space long before people arrived on ships to join them in the region. And 2 things they taught me in that engagement. The first thing is that they taught me about the fact that they occupied that entire area along the Liesbeek River. And all of you will remember where Liesbeek is. And at the junction of the Black River and the Liesbeek River, many of the battles were fought in that very early frontier time. But for me, the most profound message of engaging with them was the fact that they regarded this space in the valley next to the Hurikwaha Mountain, because that's what they called Table Mountain. In this valley, they found healing and herbs and all sorts of things that they used to help their communities. They called observatory, interestingly enough, the place of the stars, but I would not do the language of the Khoi justice if I tried to say it now. It's been a while since I practiced it. So that's what we did. I don't think we're going to play the video now, Karen. Can we? No, okay. Can we play just 1 minute, please? So I'm going to show you just 1 minute. It'll be part of the package of stuff you get when you see the recording. Thanks, thanks, Marlon. I think we can stop it there. So colleagues, this ceremony for us as the deanery represented two things. It represented our thanksgiving for the capacity to finish an academic year, but it also represented, and you see that they placed a mark on my forehead and on a couple of faculty members' heads. For me, that was a symbol, and it was really the ashes from the Mpepu that they had burned during the ceremony. That was a marking of you as graduates to say, we are very grateful to be able to send you out at the end of this year. But in many ways, for me, it's about us starting to root ourselves in the deep legacies that we have. And so when I speak about the legacy of UCT, I am amazingly proud of a legacy that has all the achievements that it has in it. And I think you would have been, you would have learned some of those in the time that you've been here. But I want to speak about the promise, because for me, every moment that we exist in the world is characterized by a legacy of where we've come from and the promise we make to a better future. So you are in fact UCT's promise to the nation to make the world a better place. And the health system that you are qualifying into is not a happy place. And you will be frustrated in that system regularly. What I ask of you now is that you become the promise of dignity to those patients that you encounter. That even if you're irritated at the person who didn't follow your guidance with the rehab stuff you taught him, even if you're seeing the same guy for the third time because of the same problem, be mindful that you will be that person. You may be the only time that that person experiences dignity in the system. Make that moment count. In all of our frustrations, and there are many, make that encounter count. And so even as I speak about your promise, I want to speak a little bit about oaths. And that's why for me, it's so important that you have somebody else in the room. Because I worry about an oath taken on social, on an online platform. I'm not sure that people have the same depth of commitment. So when you look at your mother, your father, your sister, your brother next to you, know that you are seeing the faces of the patients that you will encounter, the faces of people you have yet to meet, and make your encounter with them matter. The oath has its origins in Hippocrates, in the Greek environment, and that really was, and I grew out of an experience where he realized that his colleagues were misusing patients. And so he was calling them to a better practice, calling them to a different order. And so without much ado, I'm going to pass on to Dr. Beg now for her to take the oath with you online. And I wish you well, colleagues. You will recall that I called you colleagues when I first spoke to you online. Because for me, whether you're a student or not, you already are my colleague. You're just at different stages of the development of that professionalism. And your professionalism must change. You've got to be a better professional in 5 years' time than you are today. And in 20 years' time, when you occupy the positions that we now hold, you've got to be a different professional even in that moment, because you have to have made the world a better place. So Dr. Beg, if you can take them through the oath, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Thompson. So we're going to share the oath on the screen with you now. We would like you all to put your videos on and to unmute yourselves. We'd like you to stand if you're able to, if you're not in the car. If you're in a home environment, we'd like you to stand. If you are with somebody in the room, we hope that you've got somebody who can witness with you in your with you. So and I'm going to read the oath that is shared on the screen with you, and then you repeat after me. So all of you online, you repeat after me. Just a reminder that as I indicate initially my name, I solemnly pledge, we're going to ask you to say your own names and to include your own name in that. All right, so if you'll please stand, take any hats off, and this is the moment that you are committing to being admitted as a member of the health profession and to joining us. So if you can keep your sound just to repeating of the oath, so that we can keep this together. So you may take your sound, or you can unmute yourself so that we're all saying this together as colleagues. All right, so I will say the statement first, and then you repeat after me. I, Karen Beg, solemnly pledge to serve humanity. And now you all
obviously have.
Humanity.
the most important considerations.
My
Most important consideration
Will be the health of patients and the health of their communities.
will be the health of the
patients
and the health of their
community.
I will not permit considerations of age, race,
I will not
permit considerations of age, gender,
race, religion, inspiration, sexual orientation, disease,
religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease,
religion, sexual orientation,
other
disease, disability, or any disease, disability, or any other factors.
I don't even know
I will not.
I will uphold human rights.
Human rights.
So colleagues, can I just, Dr. Big, can I just remind colleagues to wait until you've finished reading the statement and then to read? Because I get a sense that people are trying to read with you.
So I will read the statement and then you will.
And it does sound a bit awkward, but it's quite a powerful engagement together.
So I will repeat the last statement. I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat.
I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat.
I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare.
I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare.
I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, liv
I will value research and will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards.
I will value research
And will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards.
is ethical.
I commit myself to lifelong learning.
I commit myself to lifelong learning.
Make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Make these promises freely and upon my honor.
On my honor.
Well done, colleagues, and welcome to the profession. And so, colleagues, you will. So, colleagues, you will note that we, as colleagues, as your health professionals, that we took this oath together with you. That we, your lecturers, we stood in solidarity with you and recommitted ourselves to the same oath, because you are now joining us as colleagues. And so we welcome you. And we ask that now you, we will have the oaths, the physical oaths are there and will be sent to you. But please, if you can make sure that when you get it, that you sign it, that you remember, that you reflect back on it regularly, and that you go back and reflect on it regularly and recommit yourselves to what this oath is saying. And remember that point of dignity that patients will have with you, and that that may be their only point of contact of dignity in a day. So please do remember that. We wish you strength and courage as you forge the path ahead. May you listen with compassion, walk with humility, and act with justice. Well done, colleagues, and welcome. Halala. Congratulations. Stay safe and take care as you enter your community service or internship next year. Do yourselves a favor and open up the gallery view and just say halala to all your colleagues. Well done, everybody. Congratulations and take care. Thank you all.